This video is not about the cage system. See if I can talk while I play. This video is about the G chord and the fills you can make using the G chord. So I'm switching between the G and the C. So I hammered on from an open D to a E. Back to a G. Now that's a G7. What I'm doing is this pinky is on the third fret of the first string, and that is a G. And if you lower that one whole step, you're playing the flat 7, and it makes it a G7. It builds tension. There, I walked up from an A to a B to a C. G like this. When I was young, I learned this. I mean, I think I first learned this as the G, and then I saw that you could do this too. Now, just so you know, the difference between this and this is that you're removing the major third and you're adding a fifth. And it sounds better without it, but there are some instances where melodically you want that, or you want that extra thrust that having the fifth in there gives. But if you're playing something a little prettier, then I think you want the third in there. That's the flat fifth. Doesn't sound right. Sometimes you want that though. Sounds discordant. You can go. You're adding the fourth. C is the fourth of G. How do I know this? Well, you just count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to the 1, or you can call it the 8, and then go 9, third, you don't call it a 10, there's the 11, so the 11 is the same as the 4th, the 9 is the same as the 2, 11, 12, that's a 5th, which is in the chord already, so you don't call that, and then you have the 6, or in this case, when you get to this octave, it's the 13. So this is a G13. So you make a G7, and then you add this E note there with your pinky. That makes it a G13. These are good for blues, I think, and funk. flat 7 to the C. If you make this chord, and then you add this B flat, that's a C7. F13, C7, What am I doing? I'm playing the root, in this case C7, going to the 4, which is an F, playing it as an F13 and an F7, alternating. I'm putting my pinky down and lifting it up to create a little bit of movement. G13, F13, back to a G7. So there's a G7. Do you know that shape? I really like the sound of that little lick. It sounds cool. It's like... confused myself there because I was playing that G7 so much, and then I went to the C, so it's messed up the progression where I was playing in C before. Now all of a sudden I was playing in G, and then it confused me. I was like, why does it sound like that? That's a great thing about practicing and trying things and understanding things and learning about things. It's always a good way to see connections. One thing I wanted to mention is when you're playing sort of like not so funky, but more of like country style, I guess. The thing you can do is you can play. That's the C major scale. It's the 3rd fret of the 5th string, the open of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and the open of the 3rd string, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then the open of the 2nd string, and then the 1st fret of the 2nd string to play a full octave. So that's just the major scale. That's the pentatonic. You're missing out on the 4th and the major 7. And if you want to sound a little bit more funky or bluesy, then you can make it instead of using the major 7, you can use the minor 7, the lowered 7. So that would be, instead of using a B, you use a B flat. There's that F13. I want to try something, and then when I go to the G, can you play, I think it works to play the C major scale. So the major 7 of C is actually the 3rd of G. So you would lean on that. Instead of playing the C, you'd play the major 7 of C, which is the 3rd of, which is B, 3rd of G. So I guess we're playing in G. Anyway, that's a fun thing to practice. Look, I just turned on the camera and started practicing. I hadn't really played all day today, and I was actually skiing. And I came back and just jammed free there. I don't know. Tell me where I'm wrong, where I'm messing up. But you can hear how your ear transitions to what the root pulls you in a certain direction if you play it differently and stuff.